All right, I cannot believe that it is Wednesday already, May 6th. Good morning, everyone. No matter where you're watching from, I hope you're doing all right. Gosh, Mother's Day is this Sunday. Wow. Uh, guys, have you thought about what you're going to be, you know, kids too? Have you thought about what you're going to be getting, mom, for Mother's Day? Mother's Day with plenty of snow that'll be in the forecast. Well, I don't know if maybe I shouldn't say plenty of snow, but Roger Hill, anyway, is saying that we could get some wet snowflakes. What is it? Crappy weather coming in, I think, Thursday night through Friday and really much of the weekend. Listen, it is so important, as you have heard me say before, to stay connected during this pandemic. This morning, we're going to be chatting with a Vermont lady who is an expert with scams and shams, some of these phishing scams that are going on right now. And the timing for this type of stuff is just perfect for these experts that are trying to get in and practice fraudulent activity. So Marichelle Vaught is going to be with us this morning in just about a half an hour with some tips on some really important tips on how to protect your stimulus check, how to well, just protect yourself in general from some of these scams that are out right now, all regarding the coronavirus and COVID-19. Happy Hump Day! Yes, it is Wednesday, May 6th, National Nurses Day today. On this National Nurses Week, I should say, the whole week. I think when it comes to nurses, I don't think there should be a National Nurses Week or a National Nurses Day. I think there should be a National Nurses Month. And I think that, and I know they'll never do this, but I think that every day in that month should be National Nurses Day. At least 1 out of 12. I mean, come on. Right now, with everything that's happening, also National Nursing Home Week. So I know the trifecta there. Nursing homes right now and the staff that are working in them across the nation are, I can't even say so busy, because it's so much more than that. They are just maxed out in so many different ways. And we have lots to talk about with regard to that. Birthdays today: Michelle Was from Montpelier, happy birthday. Karen Crowningshield from Barrie, hey Karen, happy birthday. And Josh Sanders over in Northfield, happy birthday to you, Josh. You got a beautiful day to celebrate. Sunny start and then cloudy later on, around 50 to 55. I think is what Roger Hill was saying. A cold one tonight. We're going to get down around 30 to 35 degrees with the moon shining bright. Good thing I brought in the pathetic attempt to plant some herbs out on my deck yesterday. Good thing I brought them in last night, because it was a frosty start to the Wednesday this morning out there. Woke up, looked out, and sure enough, all the grass was white. But yeah, some sun tomorrow, some clouds, right around 55 degrees, kind of consistent with what we have today. And then Thursday night, Friday is the wet snow. Yesterday was an epic moment for us here at the compound. we did something that we have wanted to do for, and there was a little bit of discussion about this yesterday of how much time has passed, but we did something yesterday that we've wanted to do for a very, very long time. I'm guessing somewhere right around 13 years. Every single year in like March, we say that we're going to plant a garden every year. The conversation, and finally, after like 5 years at least, then we started laughing about it. We'd be sitting on the couch, and we would say, you know, always right around late March, early April, we'd always say, we got to do a garden this year. We got to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to plant carrots and string beans and lettuce and spinach and kale. And we list off all the things, and we get all excited about it and all worked up about it. And then, just like so many other things, we get too busy. We get too wrapped up in life, and we miss windows. And as you know, with gardening, um, there's and I don't really know much about gardening, but I'm learning. I'm learning. There's there are windows that you need to hit. Um, Timing is everything. You've got to get the ground tilled right around a certain time. And then, what you put into the ground that's a whole nother story I'm learning about. And then, planning out, mapping out the garden, figuring out what you're going to have, how it's going to be, where it's going to go, all that. There's a lot to it. And then you have to, of course, buy the seeds. So I spent like $50 on seeds a couple of weeks ago. I just got really worked up and excited. And I said, this is it. This is the year. With so much time being spent at home, we're going to do the garden no matter what. This is it. If we can't do a garden while we're on lockdown with a national, with a global pandemic, then we'll never do a garden. And yesterday was such a uh, I'm I might even say a day that went down in the history of our family here. we had the we had the garden tilled. We had it mapped out. Of course, we've been discussing about exactly where it's going to go for the last couple of weeks. And yesterday we had it tilled, and what a job! That any gardener knows the first time you rototill an area that's never been tilled before for a garden is a big job, mainly with regard to the roots and the rocks that you are trying to pull out. And the good news, of course, is that next year it'll be a lot easier to till this area, which is fantastic. But yeah, we finally got it done. It's tilled just in time for the snow coming this weekend. So anyway, that's something that is going to be happening. That we are so excited to have fun with Lily and to teach her about gardening. And she's excited. We're excited, and I don't know. It was just a great day yesterday. I'm tired though. When you are using your body in a way that you're not accustomed to, boy, you feel it at the end of the day, and you feel it sometimes for some of us before the end of the day. And last night, I mean, I was just first of all, I was wiped out. For me to be too tired to get out the CBD oil and massage that into parts of my body, from Aromed Essentials, by the way, aromedessentials.com. That's where I get all my CBD. The relief lotion is just nothing short of a godsend. Lauren Andrews, by the way, the owner of Aromed Essentials, one of my presenting sponsors, will hook you up. 505-1405 is the phone number if you want to get in touch with them. You do, you get on the website, aromedessentials.com. You look around, figure out what you might want to get. And then if you have any questions or to place your order, you just call Lauren directly, 505-1405. And I'm telling you, her products are going to make a difference in your life, period. Doesn't matter if it's aromatherapy, if it's the CBD oil. They've got just all kinds of products there that will, you have to take my word for it, will turn your life around, make you feel better. Joint pain, inflammation, headaches, digestive issues, you name it. She's got a product for you over there. Best part is it's all natural. It's organic, certified organic. Yeah, it's great stuff. And it's all sourced right here in Vermont. So thank you, Aromed Essentials, for being a presenting sponsor. State Street in Montpelier and the Berlin Mall. Hopefully they're going to be reopening shop here at some point soon. They've got a totally re-renovated shop on State Street in Montpelier. Wait till you see the doors when they open. It's going to be amazing. I've seen some pictures. Maybe you have too on their Facebook page, but I can't wait. Fontaine Forestry and Millwork of East Montpelier, back as a presenting sponsor, and I am going to be over there possibly today ordering some rough cut and some cedar fence posts. Great people. And they've got their bark mulch right now. This is such a popular time of year to be getting in on it. Don't wait. That's all I'm saying with regard to the bark mulch. Get your pickup truck, whatever it is, that probably not the Cadillac, but get your truck over there, your trailer, what have you, and Mark and the boys will scoop up a big bucket load of it for you, and you can haul it away, and they'll deliver it too. So if it's if you have just the Cadillac and you don't want to put the bark mulch in the back seat, we can understand that. Mark and the family over there at Fontaine's will deliver it to your house, okay? Along with anything else you need, within reason. It's got to be lumber related, They're probably not going to deliver groceries, but they're fantastic people over there. We love them so much. Wright Electric of Barrie. Hello, Chris Wright. Thanks for being a presenting sponsor. Master certified. We have to talk. I have some ideas. I need some lighting in my barn. I'm tired of tripping and falling over things, so trying to get through there without the lights on. Wright Electric. Yes, fantastic man. Chris Wright, who's helped me so much with this podcast, and I appreciate him more than he realizes. Okay, I'm going to shut up about Chris Wright. Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance of Orange. Jason Gauthier, who I promise if you call him and you try to get through to get a free estimate for him to pop over and have a look at your property right now for mowing, landscaping, weed whacking, what have you, I promise you he's going to get back to you probably within a day or less. He is super busy right now. As you can imagine, anyone in property maintenance would be right now. Things are starting to grow. Yeah, it's a busy time of year with regard to that, but he will be back in touch with you. And of course, now with Trash King Trash Removal, he's got a separate operation that is doing trash removal. If you're in central Vermont, he'll give you an estimate of what it'll cost. If you just want to do like a one-time clean out thing, the barn, the garage, the backyard, whatever it may be, give him a call. Jason Gauthier. You can find him right on Facebook. Jason Gauthier. That's Gauthier. Jason Gauthier. All right. Vermont News today, Governor Phil Scott is offering a plan to close an estimated $200 million state budget deficit for the current fiscal year. His plan calls for using reserve funds and excess Medicaid revenue to help close the deficit. He is also saying additional revenue from the spike in alcohol sales during the coronavirus pandemic will help close the gap. The state is expecting to lose around $48 million overall in revenue because of this pandemic. 48 million bucks in the hole is what is predicted here in Vermont. Wow. In revenue. It's a hard hit, no question about it. The man who was killed in Newport by his stepfather-in-law was shot in the head, in the neck, and the torso. I don't know if you saw. I know it's kind of a grim story, but not sure if you got a chance to see any of this popping up on CAX or wherever. State police say that 38-year-old Kevin Atkins was shot dead Sunday by Paul Brown, who then took his own life. Brown also shot his stepdaughter, Nicole Atkins, who remains hospitalized, but her prognosis is good. Kevin and Nicole Atkins lived in North Troy, but sometimes stayed with the Browns in their home in Newport, where the incident happened. Governor Scott says he has concerns about the possible expansion of mail in voting in November's election, as he should be, and as I probably would be. Secretary of State Jim Condos is calling for sending mail-in ballots to all registered voters for the general election. Legislation signed in March allows Condos to change election procedures this year, but any changes must also be approved by the governor. Scott wants all of the logistics to be in place before the final decision is made on this issue. I'm not sure when they're going to make that final decision, but I will let you know about it. In story out of St. Albans this morning, a woman who was punched in the face by a St. Albans police officer in a department holding cell last year is suing the city. Her name is Amy Connolly. She's from Highgate. She has filed a lawsuit in federal court claiming her civil rights were violated. Connolly was in a holding cell for a disorderly conduct arrest in March of 2019 when former Sergeant Jason Lawton punched her in the eye. Lawton was fired after video of the incident surfaced, and he is facing criminal charges. Wow. Let's see. What else do we have today? Oh, the Kennedy Center. All performances at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts being postponed through August 9th. I'm surprised it's taken them this long, but more than 1,000 events and productions were canceled. The Kennedy Center has a at-home platform that includes new performances and learning resources for parents who are homeschooling. So hop on their site and have a look at that. Was it the other thing I was going to tell you? The lyrics to Jeff Daniels' tribute song to Detroit Lions or Detroit Tigers legend Al Killeen are headed to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The actor made the announcement this week during his live stream concert from the Purple Rose Theater in Chelsea, Michigan, saying that he couldn't believe it when he heard from Cooperstown. So pretty sweet. Arkansas, state of Arkansas, is about to let live music resume. The first show will be at Temple Live in Fort Smith on May 15th with Travis McCready performing an acoustic set. Fans are going to have to wear masks that they'll be required, and they're also going to have their temperature taken at the door, and are going to have to sit at least 6 feet apart. This venue, by the way, 1,100 people is what it holds. But at 6 feet apart, it's going to be capped at 229. And I don't know, man. That's just, I think Travis is obviously he's going to be light with it on stage and have fun with that. But ugh, I don't know if that's the kind of show I would want to do if I were Travis. Mick Jagger apparently now is showing people how to quarantine. He appeared in a mock public service announcement Tuesday on the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. I haven't seen this yet, but the clip was fashioned after an old-time newsreel and shows Jagger doing chores around the house during the COVID-19 lockdown and other activities like jumping jacks and herding sheep. The newsreel, by the way, is going to benefit for Save the Children, which is pretty cool. An Arizona factory, did you hear about this? That's making masks was blasting Live and Let Die during President Trump's tour of the facility yesterday. The president toured a Honeywell factory in Phoenix that's been retrofitting to make N95 masks for the federal government. A video clip from Reuters shows workers in one room blasting the Guns N' Roses version of Live and Let Die during Trump's visit. President, by the way, for the record, did not wear a mask during his tour of the facility. Kind of surprising. You would think that they would have plenty there. Metallica is planning a month of giving to aid coronavirus-related charities. Lars Ulrich, the drummer, released a video statement saying that each week this month, the band is going to spotlight 4 organizations that it's supporting during the pandemic. Joe Perry was on a radio station in Boston yesterday saying that the COVID-19 pandemic is like a world war. And if I can remember, I'm going to post this up later on Facebook and let you weigh in on this and get your thoughts and your comments. Of course, you can comment right here, right now. I'd love to see them. A world war. There's, I don't know, my take on it is there's no question that this is a horrible thing, but I don't know that I would take it as far as relating it to a world war. By the way, he had to postpone his Las Vegas residency at the Park MGM this month. And he says it feels right now like he's on vacation for the first time in 30 years. Joe Perry. The custom-made blue guitar used by Prince during his Purple Rain period is up for auction. Let's see, it's going to be fetching upwards of around $100,000. Also, his 2-piece purple suit is going to be up for bid at the Music Icons 2020 auction, as well as items from a few other rock stars. Paul McCartney's handwritten lyrics for Maxwell's Silver Hammer going to be on the auction block, as well as a notebook of poems by Jim Morrison of The Doors. That'll be huge. Open your wallet for that one. The auction's going to also include memorabilia from the Stones, from Queen, David Bowie, Eddie Van Halen, and many more. It's going to take place on June 19th and 20th in Beverly Hills. So this morning, as promised, I was telling you that we are going to be talking about some scams and shams that are related to COVID-19, ways that folks are, you know, coming after your identity and compromising your privacy and your personal information. This is a big deal. It seems like no matter when I hop on my phone, I am seeing stories of people who are falling victim to one of many different scams that are out there. And Marichelle Vaught is with us.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It is such a pleasure to have you on Aired Out this morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for
Are
having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Are you surviving just fine?
I am.
No, wait a minute. I
It's
thought I
a lot.
remembered. Don't you have kids?
No, I don't.
You don't have kids.
I
All right.
don't have kids. I have a dog and a husband, but
That's plenty.
but my husband is working, so yeah,
So
kind of
so
bored out of my gourd at home sometimes.
yeah. We're going to be talking. First of all, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be talking about how vulnerable we are to some of the scams that are going on right now. But before we do that, tell our listeners a little bit about you. You're right here in Vermont and what you do. I've had you on my show before, but
Yes.
What is it that you do?
Sure. I work with an organization called the Community of Vermont Elders, COVE for short. And we are a nonprofit organization that provides advocacy and education for older Vermonters. So we go to the State House and we listen to the issues. We testify on behalf of issues concerning older Vermonters. We provide education, and right now that is in the areas of scam and fraud prevention, general scam and fraud prevention and financial exploitation, and Medicare fraud prevention as well. And we're always looking at new ways that we could provide services for older Vermonters and looking at gaps in services and seeing where we can help folks. But in terms of scams and fraud, it really affects everybody, not just older Vermonters. Everybody is vulnerable to these scams and frauds, and especially right now when people are losing money, may not have a steady income right now. And so scammers are taking advantage of the opportunity to give an offer that's too good to be true. And then they end up taking your money or stealing your identity to sign up for credit cards or what have you. Yep.
Well, I mean, you know, many of us are logging a lot of hours online these days.
Absolutely.
So these cyber criminals are more than aware of that. They know that many of us are killing time. We're searching around. We're looking at stuff. We're paying our bills online.
We're doing everything online. We're meeting online. We're signing up for information online if we want to get our news. Yep, like you said, we are paying bills online. And then there are people who are lonely and are meeting new people online. So that's really our only connection for a lot of us these days. Is the internet. And sometimes we go through our daily lives so quickly on the internet, and we're so used to just entering information there and then without thinking about, okay, what am I entering information on, and how will where is this
Sure.
information going to be going? And especially right now with the stimulus checks that are being distributed, this is an opportunity for scam artists to take advantage of that money. And most people have received their stimulus checks in their direct deposit already.
Yeah.
Others not. Others are still waiting. Others are waiting for a paper check, which may take a few more weeks. And there's all sorts of information out there saying, go to this site, go to that site to check on the status of your stimulus
Yes.
check. And that is where the scammers are taking advantage of folks.
That's where I wanted to set this record straight
Right.
because I see that so much. I mean, all you have to do is
Is click
turn
on
your
something.
phone. Well, all you have to do is just turn your phone on, and
That's right.
there is something right there in
Yep.
front of you, in front of your face, every single day or night.
Mhm.
If you're sitting down on the couch as I do, kind of decompressing at the end of the night, you turn that phone on, and there it is right there. Check the status of your stimulus check. Click here. Real simple.
Right.
You just all you have to do is enter in your social security number, and we're going to give you
Yeah.
the up to the minute accurate information. But these scammers,
Yeah.
they fair to say, Marichelle, that as soon as they were catching wind
Mhm.
that we were going to have this pandemic and that it was going to be affecting not only the global scale but right here in America, they were gearing up for this. They knew that there was an opportunity to get their hands on this economic impact payment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime that there is money floating around, and people need to rely on the government to tell them when they receive that money. People are on that. That's why IRS scams have been so
Yep.
successful in the past. And of course, people are desperate for their money. People need their money.
Yes.
And we all
Yes.
know that dealing with federal sites and federal phone calls and trying to find out the status of this or that through any federal organization takes time. And so people want the quickest way to get their status. Um, so, right now, the irs.gov website is the only website we should click onto.
Click on.
We should actually type in the address. So, what I'm telling people is,
Yes.
even if you get an email that says click on this link to check on the status of your stimulus check, don't do that. Just go to your web browser and type in irs.gov yourself. It takes a couple more
This is
seconds,
so
but
so important to
yeah,
hear this.
those,
Yeah.
those couple of seconds will save you your $1,200 or your $2,400 or however much you're going to get, or and even more, because what happens is, and these are scammers are professional criminals. Okay, so they can design a website to look like the real thing. Uh,
It's pretty much identical.
Pretty
Pretty
much
much.
identical. And if you're quickly going through your computer, it's just going to look the same to you. And then, so what happens is, if you get an email saying, hey, click on this link to check on the status of your stimulus check, you click on that link, it brings you to a fake website designed to look like
Yeah.
the real thing. And then you enter in your personal information, like your social security number, your address, so that they could see where your stimulus check is. And what happens is, the scammer has then captured your personal identification.
Yeah.
Um, or these are sites that say, we can process your stimulus check faster for a small
Yes,
fee.
faster. Yes,
Okay?
faster.
There is no such thing. There is no
I've
such
seen a
thing.
lot of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is
They're
no
trying to
exact.
convince you that you can get your check direct deposited faster if you click on this. It just doesn't work that
That
way.
doesn't
And
happen. There is no way to get your money any faster. Um, and so don't believe in that. There's also, goodness, there's um, just any site that says, hey, check on your payment.
yeah,
Um, you know, don't do it. Again, just like I have always said, when you get calls from the government, if you get calls from the IRS will never call you.
call you. Yes.
They will never
You
contact.
know, I this might sound it's a little embarrassing for me because I feel like I'm old enough that I should know better. But you were actually the one that taught me that the IRS will never call you. I think you told me that your credit card company will also never call you.
Right. They will, like, the IRS will never call you unless you've called them and you're expecting a
Right.
response back, and
Expecting.
there's
Right.
a purpose for the call. Your card company will never call you and say, hey, they may call you with information, but they're
Sure.
not going to force you to give your credit card number over the phone because they
Sure.
already have it.
They
Just like
already know it.
your bank is not going to call you and say, hey, we need to verify that this is your banking account information.
Sure.
They're never going to
Sure.
do that.
Right.
So, again, these are professional criminals and they will use all sorts of tactics to get information out of you, whether it be fear tactics, if they say they're calling from the IRS,
Yeah.
and you owe back taxes. There are people who are getting calls right now saying, this is the IRS, you're due a stimulus check, but you have back taxes and you need to pay those with your stimulus check right now.
Yeah. Sure.
That's a scam. Um,
That's a big one. That's
they
a
would
big one.
never, ever do that. Your bank will not call you and say, this is your bank. Your stimulus check is waiting for you, but we need to verify your banking account information with us before that can be directly deposited. Not going to
I
happen.
I read somewhere, obviously it was on my phone, that if you file taxes in 2018 and 2019 and you provided direct deposit information then,
Right.
that the IRS will directly deposit the money into your account. You just have to be patient if you haven't received it yet.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
It'll get directly deposited. Now, if you've moved or if you've switched banks, um, it'll take a little longer because your bank will be able to let them know, hey, they're no longer a customer here. But they can,
Sure.
that'll take some time. So there'll be some hiccups. And if you go to the irs.gov website, there are many answers to those questions on there, um, in terms of what happens if I've moved, what happens if I switched banks.
Sure.
So those answers are all on there. Um, and um,
You said that the IRS will never call you. Uh, will they email you or reach out to you on social media?
no, no, IRS just doesn't do that. They don't do that.
Interesting.
The only way they will contact you really is, if you are late with any taxes and they really need to get a hold of you, they'll send you tons
Oh,
and tons of pieces of paper in the mail called
right.
notices.
But
Um,
not call, but
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 they won't
not
call
calling.
you and they won't email you. That's the same thing with Medicare. It's the same thing with Social Security. Social
I think I, th-
Security will never call you and tell you your Social Security card has been compromised and is suspended. That will never happen. Now, if you, and there are people, of course, who are like, well, this call, it does seem really real.
yes.
The best thing to do is to hang up and call that organization directly and say, hey, I just got a call from someone in your office and they told me this.
I think
That
one
way
of the
you're directing the question at them and you're calling
yeah.
the actual organization.
I remember I was trying to get in touch with the Social Security Administration at one point by phone, and it took me, I don't even know how long, days of
Yeah.
calling and being on hold. And the same thing with the IRS. If you've ever needed to speak with the IRS, I mean, good luck, you know. So
Mhm.
I think with that being said, that when we receive a phone call from one of these organizations, we're we we basically, that's my daughter coming in to say good morning to me.
So
Um,
sweet.
you know, we feel like, oh, we've got to take this call, because if I don't speak with them now,
I'm
it's going to
gonna
be
lose
very
my chance.
difficult. It's going to be very difficult for me to connect with them later by telephone. So
Right.
don't miss this opportunity. Stay on the phone with it. I have felt that way.
Oh yeah. I have too. I am probably the most impatient person, and I'm also every salesperson's dream.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
I will just go, uh-huh, uh-huh, okay. Yeah, I'll try it. Or I'll
Right.
buy something that, yeah, I probably don't need, or I'll believe
Sure.
something because it was just written out for me so eloquently.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, I fear of missing out is what
You
it
know,
is.
I think that it's the responsibility really of everyone that's watching this morning and listening to this morning,
Mhm.
to spread this message, to not only share the link for this podcast here on YouTube, but also just, communicate with your friends, tell them what,
Mm,
some of the things that you've learned this morning, in just a few short minutes, and
yeah,
definitely follow up with your parents, especially if
absolutely.
if, if they're just, you know, if they're elderly or
Right.
approaching being elderly. You know, I remember when my parents were in their 60s and 70s, and the amount of frustration that that generation was experiencing regarding the internet and all things electronics and digital. And they were like just the perfect example of the type of person that if they received an email from the IRS and in the subject line it said your stimulus payment,
Right.
they would click on that in 1 second. And it's our responsibility to teach our elders, our friends, our family members, our parents, make sure that they're, they're down with this, and that they understand that
Absolutely.
if they click on something, it's going to send them right into some malware, and at that
Absolutely.
at
Yeah,
that point.
and especially during this time where we're all isolated and we're getting our information from the computer, from what we read, from what people
Right.
send us. So we want to make sure that we're still connecting with our family and our friends, and we're speaking with them. And scams change every day. There's a new one every day. And it's also good to, even if you know about these scams, just to be reminded of them,
Sure.
that they
Yeah.
still are happening. And some of them sound so outlandish, like people think, how could anybody ever fall for that? But again, these are professional criminals. They're not going to get everybody to fall for their tricks.
They
But
know,
when they get,
they
yeah,
yeah, they know that the tide is high right now.
right,
And these con artists are really good. Like you said, they are professionals. They are,
right.
frankly, brilliant.
Yeah,
They're
they'll try
very, very.
anything. They'll try anything. And so some of the scams, some examples of them are, IRS sending you an overpayment. There's
Oh,
there's fake checks that are actually being sent out to people. So beware of fake checks. Now, I don't believe paper checks have been received by most people yet. Um, and if you were to get a check, you would just get the check. It would say $1,200, $2,400, whatever is due you. Now, you will not get a notice beforehand saying, you are about to receive a check and we need to verify your information. That will not happen. Okay.
ah,
Um, the IRS will not send you an overpayment and make you send money back to them in the form of cash, gift cards, or money transfers. They will send you the amount that you're supposed to have. Okay. So those are some things to be aware of. Banks are also good at looking at this too. So if a fake check is coming to them and a customer is trying to cash something, some banks will be like, this doesn't look like a legitimate check.
sure.
But those are things to be aware of, especially the ones saying your check is on the way. We just need to verify some information. And then, of course, the trying to get your check faster.
Yeah.
Those simply are not happening. If you get any Facebook messages, texts, any other social media messaging saying they're claiming to get in touch with you, ignore those messages. The government, the IRS, the US Treasury is not going to get in touch with you through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or through
Sure.
email.
Uh,
So, definitely every time you get a message saying something about your stimulus check, it's a red flag. So just look at
Interesting.
it that way. Just look at it that way. And if it's a message that says we need to know certain information, get rid of it.
Yeah,
And
they should already have that information. They
they
shouldn't be
definitely have that information. It's like,
they shouldn't be asking you or verifying.
right. It's like your child calling you and saying, hey, when's your birthday?
Sure.
You
Right.
know, they know that information already.
Yes. Yes.
That's what they do.
I
They,
had a friend tell me that it even showed up on his phone.
Mhm.
The caller ID was US Treasury.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. There are ways so they can make fake websites and they can make their name show up on a caller ID. You can have your name show up on a caller ID with any organization these days and any number. You can make it look like that you're calling from the 802 area code when you're calling from
Sure.
somewhere else. And that's just
Amazing.
another layer that the scammers use to gain trust from people.
And gaining trust is something that you have told me is there's two real popular tactics. Gaining trust, breaking down any walls of suspicion,
Mhm.
and by trying to suggest that they already know you. They've already got information on you, and they might even confirm the last four digits of your social,
Right.
or the last four digits of your credit card or whatever, that they already know some information about you, which
Right.
breaks that
Tear down. Yeah.
feeling of suspicion.
That's
And
just,
the other tactic that you've taught me is the fear factor, the
right.
threat.
Yeah.
And we've all heard the word unprecedented so many times, but these are unprecedented times. These are desperate times, and
Right.
we have families. We're in survival. A lot of us are in survival mode. So when
Exactly.
we get any kind of threat that we may not receive that stimulus check,
Mhm.
uh, we're
Right.
we're
Or,
we're jumping on it.
or you have somebody saying they're calling from the bank, and your mortgage is
Yeah.
past due, and they didn't receive it. They simply didn't receive it, and they need the money today. Again, those are, yeah, your heart's gonna jump out of your chest, but the best thing to do is to stop, take a breath, hang up and call the trusted organization who they're claiming to be.
Right.
So if they're saying this is your mortgage company, hang up, call your mortgage company directly with the phone number you have for them and say, I got this
Yeah.
call, just to verify that. Um,
Right.
and most likely, they're going to say it's a darn good thing you didn't give out any information. Uh,
Yeah. I,
so
I
anytime,
saw. I s-
I was going to say, anytime you get a call from the outside and they're requiring or requesting personal information from you, don't give it.
That's the key right there. To to if there was one way to kind of sum this all up, that's it right there. If anything, any way on the outside is
Mhm.
coming to you requesting information, i- no matter how it's done, by phone, by text, by email, by
Right,
social media, whatever it may be,
right.
um, obviously don't give it. It's a scam. That anyone who needs something from you should already know
Mhm.
all of your personal information. I read last night that scammers have registered 150,000
Mhm.
fake stimulus check websites.
Oh yeah. Yep. I don't doubt that. And they show up and they disappear just as fast. Because they've captured somebody's information, they're going to just close that one down and start a new one. So they're relentless.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, again, definitely if you get those calls, hang up. And if you're ever in doubt, call the organization or the company they're claiming to be, with the phone number you have for them, and let them know, what your concern is. It's also good for that company to know, because if their name is being used, like if your bank
Mhm.
is calling you, they're saying they're your bank, they can warn other customers as well. You know, hey, some of our customers have been receiving calls. Please be warned. That's why any information, if you're looking to see what the status of your stimulus check is, go directly to irs.gov, and there is the get my payment link on there. So don't get there through another link. If you get an email saying this is the IRS and find out where your payment is, click here to find out
Yeah.
where it is and how you can get it quicker. Just go directly to irs.gov.
In your browser, just punch that, and then once you punch that information in, is it once you're I know it sounds like a dumb question, but there really is almost, when it comes to identity theft and all this, there's almost not a dumb question. But
No,
once you get in, once you get in, is it then safe to enter in your social security number or what have you? That's
yeah, I
personal
think I
information.
think in the go to payment section where you have to verify, it brings you to
Okay.
this page that says, it's kind of a warning or a disclaimer saying this information that you're entering will only be seen by federal government, by the IRS, for the purposes of finding out the status of your stimulus check. And when you are in there, you can also look on your browser, and if you see a lock, a padlock symbol on your browser at the beginning of your browser, that means it's a secure site. Or
Ah,
or at the beginning of the website, it'll usually say HTTP
yes.
colon. Um, you want it to say HTTPS. You want to make sure that S is there because that means secure also. So,
Really? Yeah.
so those are two layers to look at. But if you type in directly irs.gov, you will go directly to their website. And go ahead and
Anything
check it
else?
out. If you that padlock and that HTTPS is also helpful for if you're purchasing anything online. before you put in your credit card information. Like if you're buying anything from Amazon or any website, before you do that, always look at the top where you've the website address is, and make sure there's either the padlock in that browser or it says HTTPS. Make sure that
S.
there. And if it's not, don't enter your information because it's not a secure website.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Marichelle, that you can think of to get the message out to our listeners and viewers this morning with cybersecurity at this point?
At this point, in terms of finding out about your stimulus check, IRS will not call you. They will not email you. They will not message you on social media. They will not get in touch with you and have you verify your information with them before they send you the check. Your bank won't do that either. If you haven't received your check and you want to find out the status of it, go to irs.gov.
Okay. Okay.
So if any organization calls you and says, they're from Medicare, they're from the IRS, they're from, the Social Security office, and they need any information from you, hang up. It's not them.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Oh yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah. And just tell, share as much as you can this information.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's so prevalent. Scams, attempted scams are so prevalent now that the Federal Trade Commission has put out this tongue-in-cheek scam bingo.
You're kidding me.
It's a scam bingo, so you could keep it next to your computer or your phone or whatever, and you could say, oh, got a robocall, got a scam call, got a call to lower my debt.
Oh my God.
So
I love that that thing you were telling me with robocalls where there's an app or something that you were telling me about that you can download that will make it sound like you're answering the call, and that there's like a one-way conversation or something with, it sounds like you speaking to them, and just it frustrates them.
There is something through Google, I think it is.
Yeah, and there's an app too, and I can't think of it. But
well,
anyway,
best thing to do is to not even entertain them. Best thing to do is
sure.
Because there are people who do like to play around with the callers. Again, they're professional criminals, so they can glean some sort of information if they are on the phone with you. They might hear a dog barking in the background, or something.
Yeah,
like
sure,
that.
Sure, right.
So best thing to do is to hang up, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of playing around with them on the phone.
And you're so tuned into this, and yet we've all, I think all of us have fallen victim to this at some point or another. And there's so many different avenues to be a victim. There's so many different ways to get to us. How can people learn more about you, Marichelle, if they have a question for you, if they want to email you directly? You're first of all, you're on Facebook, but
yes,
what's another way to get you?
I'll give you my phone number, and right now I am giving out my cell phone number because I am working remotely, and I will screen the calls. But it is 802-595-9872, and I'm happy to answer any questions, find out any information for folks, and share what I can. Even if somebody just wants to talk something through, I'm happy to do that. And then my email is Marichelle, MARICHEL, at vermontelders.org.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, I just want to close by saying that Cove is so lucky to have you on board. Big time.
Well, I'm learning all of this for myself and for all my family and friends too. So, I consider this just information we all need to know about, regardless of our age.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marichelle. If
Thank
there's
you.
any, we'll get this. We'll get the link from YouTube up on social media and share away. And if there's anything you want to add, by all means, please do. And thank you again
Awesome.
for all of your time. We really, really appreciate it so
Well, thank
much.
you and be well.
All right,
All
that's
right.
Marichelle Vaught this morning, who has helped us out with some tips on how to stay safe during this crazy time that we're involved with right now. And gosh, we just appreciate her so much. If you have any questions, you can post them up right here on the YouTube link or on Facebook, where we will be sharing. And gosh, before I skip out of here, I just want to tell you real quick that we have a great lineup coming. More shows. Rusty Deweese is going to check in with us on Friday morning, which is going to be fun. We're going to be finding out what old Russ has been up to, and a lot of people saying it's going to be divorce a palooza. People are discovering affairs while quarantined with their spouses. Domestic violence is up. Tensions at home are huge. Tomorrow morning, Chris Larson, the divorce attorney with Moob, Gallivan, and Larson down in Rutland, is going to be with us talking about breakups and divorce, which is going to be interesting tomorrow so much. I can't wait to have them on. Thanks to my presenting sponsors of Aired Out, Aeromed Essentials, State Street, Montpelier, and Berlin Mall. Can't wait for them to reopen, but you can get in touch with them at 505-1405. They'll ship right to your house. Aromatherapy, CBD oils, and so much more. Organic, superior quality, and again, shipped right to your home by Lauren Andrews herself. Hop on arrowmedessentials.com and order by phone. Again, 505-1405. Fontaine Forestry and Millwork. Heading over there possibly today to get some rough cut, and at least to get an order delivered here to the house, and maybe some wood chips and some cedar fence posts. They are wonderful people, right on Route 14, just below Bragg Farm. Back as a presenting sponsor, Fontaine Forestry and Millwork. Thank you ever so much to the Fontaine family. Wright Electric of Barry, Master Certified Electrician Chris Wright, and Jason Gauthier of Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance, now with Trash King Removal. It is not just a job. It is a passion, residential and commercial. He is fully insured. Find him on Facebook, Jason Gauthier. He'll skip over and give you a free estimate on any kind of property maintenance that you have. Landscaping is his big thing. He loves it. Supporting sponsors include Peak Entertainment, Donnybrook Fight Promotion, FGB Theaters, CW Print and Design, Pick 333, McGaskill's Custom Carpentry, and Dupree's Towing out of Sharon. Fly on the Wall Productions, CVTV, your local cable channel 192 and 194. Get dialed into your community at CVTV723.org. Make sure to share, to comment, to like, and subscribe to Aired Out on YouTube. We appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your day.